Hi Eula fans! So originally, I wasn't so certain I would do a video on Eula. I don't play her, and the amount of detail I can provide on this character will probably be fairly rudimentary. I won't have nearly the same level of detail I have for my Albedo guide, since it was an actual guide, but my friend said you should just do a review on all the 5-star characters. And I figured it wouldn't be fair to just ignore Eula, so here we are. For those of you that provided the positive feedback on the Albedo video, thank you very much. If you stuck around to hear my insight on other characters, I hope I can do them all justice. That said, I feel I won't have much more to say than anyone else when it comes to Eula, but let's give this a go. Eula is like the Tekken character of Genshin Impact. Players can just mindlessly mash buttons and get amazing damage without knowing what they're doing, but players who have mastered the art of the combo will find Eula's playstyle far more rewarding upon mastering it. Eula's most impressive form of damage comes from the stacks feature of her burst. Each time she deals damage to an enemy, she gains an energy stack that amplifies the damage of her Light Force sword. The maximum amount of stacks one can receive is 30, and since the damage per stack just adds onto her base damage multiplier, the amount of damage she can dish out near the end can become something absurdly high if you can max them out. Of course, for most players, this isn't quite within reach, as the maximum stack ceiling isn't possible without the help of her 6th constellation and some good RNG. However, players that have base Eula can still enjoy a little under half of that stack amount, and the damage is still a fairly absurd number with the right build. The thing about Eula that I find quite satisfying is the fluid motion and how easy it is to chain her combos together. At the end of each full combo, Eula's elemental skill can be used to cancel into the start of a new combo, and this will be important for later. But while we're talking about her elemental skill, let's give it a brief visit so we can understand her other stack mechanic, Grimheart. Upon using her Icetide Vortex, Eula is bestowed a Grimheart stack, which makes her a lot harder to interrupt mid-combo, because the last thing you want when you're trying to achieve high burst damage numbers is for some stray attack to stop you halfway. It can be quite frustrating. On top of this resistance to interruption, a whole 2 stacks of Grimheart has the same effect of giving Eula a defense % main stack artifact. That's quite impressive. Her elemental skill can also be held. Doing so consumes all Grimheart stacks and converts its protective properties into additional damage dealing. Once consumed, Grimheart stacks lower the cryo and physical resistance of all nearby enemies. So to put it all together, players who enjoy maining as Eula can chain combos together for extended battle durations. However, for those that subscribe to character rotations, the ideal goal is to use the pressed version of Eula's skill to grant her more defense and resistance to interruption. This leads to the activation of Eula's elemental burst to start the process of gaining energy stacks. With only a 7-second window of time, it's a race against the clock, performing a series of attacks. Most agree that 5 strikes is far too long and settle for a 4-hit combo. Then, use the Held elemental skill to absorb all the Grimheart stacks to reduce the enemy's physical resistance. Finally, you'll want to unleash Eula's full combo and watch the devastating damage of her burst take down even the tankiest of enemies. Since the majority of Eula's damage comes in the form of physical attacks, it comes as no surprise that many people will suggest the 4-piece Pale Flame set as her absolute best option. The 4-piece set is fairly reliant on being able to use her elemental skill fairly often to take advantage of its full potential, so players who aren't as practiced at Eula's combo might find more comfort with the mixed set of 2 Pale Flame and 2 Bloodstained Chivalry. And if you're really struggling to get those pieces, you can substitute one half of the equation with Gladiator's pieces until you can properly upgrade. For players with a lower adventure rank, the Braveheart set or the Martial Arts set works fairly well on Eula, either in combination with one another or as a standalone 4-piece set. And of course, regardless of the set bonus you choose, the best main stat lineup is going to be Attack % Sands, a Physical Goblet, and a Crit Circlet. Eula has quite a few weapon options. Obviously, MiHoYo wants to sell you the Song of Broken Pines, but the weapon banner is often a Song of Broken Spirits, as it doesn't quite sing good fortune to the player base as a whole. So if you're looking to save on wishes and money, we do have a few options available. If you were here during the Moonlight Seeker event, you will have access to the Luxurious Sea Lord, which grants bonus damage to your elemental burst. It's also a bit funny to smack people around with a giant fish. But if you weren't, or you just want another option, treasure hunters may have been blessed to have found the Skyrider Greatsword. It's a 3-star weapon exclusive to chests. It has a physical damage bonus substat, and its passive increases the wielder's attack with every hit. So, while it may only be a 3-star weapon, it has a lot of good potential. Of course, it's still fairly possible you might have accidentally used it to level up your other weapons, and if that's the case, don't worry. We still haven't covered another fairly suitable option. Now, I could be thorough and talk about the Battle Pass option, or maybe the other 5-star weapons you can get from the standard banner, but honestly, I think the weapon I'm about to talk about is far more suitable for Eula anyway. Obviously, if you've invested in a really good claymore and you want to use it on her, by all means. However, I honestly think the best weapon for Eula that doesn't break the bank has to be the Snow-Tombed Starsilver, hands down. The good news is it requires no billets to get a hold of your first one. The bad news is it requires a fairly lengthy trek through Dragonspine solving puzzles to acquire it. So if you don't want to do that, I can sympathize. The Starsilver has a physical damage substat, its passive deals extra physical damage, and it synergizes really well with Eula's ability to apply cryostatus on her enemies. So that's Eula in a nutshell. She's a physical damage powerhouse with a rewarding combo system integrated into the damage of her burst. She has a really good free option as a weapon, and her artifact options allow you to put something together quickly that allows you to build her up over time. If you enjoy Eula, and you're a big fan of performing combos, this is the character for you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this rough analysis of Eula's character, and I hope to see you in the next video. So until then, stay tuned.